So we can't help but to be influenced by the direction of theirs. It's kind of a little bit of a catch-22, but it's important to recognize this fact. And it's important to recognize that, maybe where you are might be you're kind of aimlessly going in some directions that are based on lifelong habits, and thus you'll attract other people that will help enforce those lifelong habits. If you want true change in your life and you really want to move things around, you have to also look at your environment. It's not just about goals and getting up early and staying up later than the other person, or working harder, or even working smarter. It's about changing your environment that you're in there. And it's not only that we get to connect with our friends and family members and that we're face to face with them. There's some really interesting scientific studies out there in quantum physics and also in just kind of standard science that show that we even share thoughts and emotions with the people that we surround ourselves with, even when we're apart from this. And there's a book out there called Entangled Minds that goes over some scientific proof of this. But anyways, the research out there has shown that the minds of people who communicate regularly, in other words, the people that you surround yourselves around, whether they're unhealthy for you or healthy for you, the minds tend to get, for lack of a better term, entangled, and they get in sync. And no matter how close or far apart you are, as far as geographically goes from one another, you tend to stay in sync with these kind of people. So it's even further reasoning and urging from me to really, help surround yourself around as many positive and people who are headed in the same direction as you, because you're going to be influenced by them and they're going to be influenced by you, and that's how we all rise together on that end. But that's just the people in there. But the places where you live, whatever part of the world that you live in, whatever places that you surround yourself with every day can also have a huge effect, because that's part of your environment too. It's not just the people on here, but it's also the environments on that end of it. And just something as simple as if you've, maybe your home office or your work office or your home, for whatever reason got really messing out of control, and then you just decide one day I've had enough and you clean it up, you just immediately feel better after that. And everybody on this call, whether now or on the recording, has experienced that before, and that's just a perfect example of how the places, the environment can do for you and can do for your mindset to kind of get you set. So it's not just the people, it's the environment that you surround yourself with on here. There's really no place like home for getting healthy. So if you've got kids, you've got sisters, you've got brothers, your parents are still alive, really, if you can reform those ties and that connection with those people, they're healthy environments, there really can be nothing more nourishing for you than that. So I'll get off my soapbox on that end of it, but I just wanted to share that with you and make you aware that at least within our community, the paper call community on here, that the comments that you put in the blogs, the comments that you put in the forums, if it's not benefiting yourself and others, don't put it in there, because it does so much more harm than you can imagine, not only to yourself but to others, and I'm just not going to allow it. All right, let's get started with the questions on here. Okay, so we got a lot of questions because we got not too many, but okay. So alrighty, so writing this from a restaurant bar expo in Las Vegas, offline heaven for serious marketers. Okay, great. One topic I would like some input on is dealing with the question of what do you consider a qualified lead? It's a great question here. I'm going to continue reading through that before I get to the answer on that, or my opinion on that. I have one client that wants to debate what they should or should not pay for the point where I want to choke them. I know I can just sell it to someone else, but there's a lot of upside to a larger picture paper called leads than leads is one element. How do you suggest defining a satisfactory metric for qualifying billable leads, and what should I dispute for paying for? That is a fantastic question, and that's actually a question that myself and my sales team have struggled with. And let me share some insight on here, and hopefully this will help you in your journey forward on here. Is we really want to when we approach the client and we have communication with the client, and we get a client in that conversation where we're going to get them to commit on here, and we have to agree what this service is about. What we've noticed, and this is from feedback from my salespeople, is that the offline clients who get this the most and give us the least amount of coming back and trying to dispute a call and so on and so forth, which can really take up a lot of your time and theirs too. It's just unproductive time for both parties all around. Is when you're comparing it to a pay-per-click. Okay, if they've done pay-per-click, then they get it. There's some people that are going to click on your website and they're going to click off in 2 seconds for whatever reason, or 5 seconds. You're still charged for that click. Okay. Likewise, there's going to be people who are going to find your site or find one of our sites. They're going to be motivated enough to pause and pick up the phone and call, and it may not be a qualified lead for whatever reason. They can't afford it. They're slightly out of your area. It's not quite a client that you want to deal with for whatever reasons, and you didn't make a sale. You're still going to be charged for that. And so we like to make that comparison there, and we want to make that clear with the client in the beginning, and that we can keep our prices low and we can keep our customers happy because of the efficiencies of how we run our business. But in addition to that, we understand that you may get some calls of wrong number, even though someone might wrong click when you compare it to a pay-per-click, a wrong number, something. So that's something that we do out of a courtesy to you. And by no means does this mean that please don't confuse our services with a pay-per-closed customer. This is not a pay-per-closed customer. Look, you're going to get phone calls, even though we agree on 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is for a qualified call. A qualified call, don't confuse with a closed deal. Okay, and if for some reason you're getting these calls in here, it's going to swing both ways. There's going to be situations where people are going to call and they're going to talk. It's going to take you longer than the set amount of time to qualify them, and you may not close them. That's part of doing business, because there's no other form of advertising out there that offers you the kind of quality and the reassurance that we do. Radio doesn't do it. Television doesn't do it. Pay-per-click doesn't do it. Mailers don't do it. Phone books don't do it. No one else does it. We are the best and the premier at providing a live direct lead to you that no one else can at the prices we do. And so some of those phone calls are not going to go through. That's okay. That's just like a click. When someone clicks on, they decide not to. You're going to get those. On the flip side, you're going to get people who are going to call after hours. And they're going to call and they're going to leave a 1-minute message and their phone number, and you're going to call them back and you're going to close them. So it's not a perfect system, and it's not meant to be a perfect system. So please do not confuse this with a pay-per-close marketing. This is a pay-per-call, and out of our professional courtesy, we're offering a qualified time in the beginning. So if you can't deal with that, we need to move on to someone else who can appreciate the kind of service and the value that we offer. If you can, we'd love to have you as a client. Now, that being said, we are also playing around in some of our niches with the market of purely going, here's purely, and this is clients that do pay-per-click. And we're purely saying, look, right now you're paying on average $10 per click. We'll offer you the same price you're paying right now but for a live call. Some of them may turn out, some of them may not. Do you see the value in that? And if they're currently doing pay-per-click, they'll immediately get it. They're like, yeah, I see the value in that. And those kind of customers, and we set no qualifying time whatsoever. Every call that comes through, whether it's after hours, during hours, they are charged for it, just like a pay-per-click. We are, in some markets, comparing ourselves side by side, in parallel, in tandem with pay-per-click. Same price, completely different value, though. This is not a click. This is a live phone call, which is much more valuable than a click. Okay? Are you going to close all clicks? Of course not. You haven't. Are you going to close all calls? Of course not. That's just not what this service is. But this is a live customer calling who actually searched you online, found you, looked at a website, read through it, and then took the time and the energy to pick up their phone and dial 7 digits, right? Wait for it to ring and wait for you to pick it up. That's a pretty hot lead, and we're charging the same price as a pay-per-click. We're not doing that in all marketplaces, but we've played around with it in some, and so that's another way you could look at it. So great question, thanks for that. Could you please probably go over the importance of meta tags? I'm using the Rockstar theme, okay, which is a good theme, and all-in-one SEO pack. And if I go into WordPress admin settings, all-in-one tabs, got it, and enable the plugin status, fill out the home title, the home information, and the home keyword information, and the checkbox that I use for the meta tags. Is there anything else that I need to do? I don't mess with the home ones, so once you've mentioned here is all the home ones, I just do the exact pages, okay? So I just go to the page, and at the bottom of the page, whether it's the home page or a post or whatever, you know, when you're in the back end of your WordPress site and you enter in your title, the body, and your meta tags, then when you just scroll down a little bit lower, you'll see your little all-in-one SEO tab down there, and then you'll open it up, and then it'll allow you to put in your own title instead of Google taking the title off of your actual content. And then instead of the actual, for the description, you can put in your own description rather than Google's bots pulling it randomly from the content of your article. And then you can put your own meta tags at the bottom rather than Google trying to figure out what the meta tags are. Although there's question as to whether those are even important, but nevertheless, we put them in anyway. So I don't do the home ones. Because I don't have a home page. I have a page that is fully optimized that one could call their home page, but that home page is set as I describe in the training on that. So I hope that makes sense. When you go to, let me just show a real quick example if I can. And we just take a look at Mold Mechanic Austin. What you'll see on here, and this is our site right here. This is the home page that's showing up here, but this right here is the title tag in all-in-one SEO pack.